I just want to say that Marina Mabre is a bum, and I own her. She shoved me like that was going to change the score. She was out there putting up Angel Reese stats with her 6 points and 8 me-bounds. She needs to relax. They tried to gang up on me with 3 players because I cooked their whole squad, and I had to let their bench know after I hit that 3-pointer to shut their asses up.
Caitlin Clark just went off after the WNBA made a shocking decision to eject her top protector, Sophie Cunningham.
My name is Sophie Cunningham, and I won't allow anyone to harm Caitlin Clark. During that game, JC Sheldon deliberately poked Caitlin in the eye, and then Marina Mabrey pushed her down, yet the referees did nothing. I simply couldn't bear it. Seeing my teammate treated this way, I knew I had to step up and do something for her.
But this isn't just about one player getting tossed. This is a full-on meltdown. The WNBA is losing control, and fans are furious.
Players are faster, they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger. They're as good as they've ever been. They're as athletic as they've ever been. The game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
And Caitlin Clark's reaction might just rattle the future of women's basketball. Behind the headline lies a troubling trend, a league eager to profit from her fame, yet unwilling to protect her. Now, it looks like they're targeting anyone. Who defends her? All of this sparked from a flagrant foul that never should have happened.
Trash talk had been happening everywhere. Technicals, flagrants, all this stuff had been happening. And as JC Sheldon was running down the court for a fast break layup, Sophie Cunningham grabs her and hard fouls her. I think this was Sophie. This was the last 46 seconds of the game. They were up by a lot, so I think it's a possibility that Sophie was trying to send a message.
Late in a tense game, Sophie Cunningham delivered a tough hit while standing up for her teammate Caitlin Clark. The moment sparked chaos. Cunningham was quickly thrown out. But this wasn't just a foul in a heated battle. Fans saw the truth. It felt like a message from the league. And Caitlin Clark, she was livid.
What did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
You think it's like defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it goes?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
That's about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Why? Because Cunningham wasn't just another teammate. She had earned a reputation as one of the few willing to stand up and shield Clark from the growing physical play targeting her.
As Caitlin's teammate, I couldn't sit idly by. I decided to take a stand. In my own way, I made JC Sheldon understand that anyone who hurts Caitlin would face consequences. This wasn't just a foul, it was a warning to everyone. Although I was ejected from the game, I earned the respect of the fans. People thought I did what others were afraid to do, standing up for Caitlin, even at the cost of myself. This makes me furious. The WNBA's rules and biases clearly enable this violent behavior, ignoring players' dignity and safety. The atmosphere of that game grew increasingly tense until I couldn't stand by anymore.
And those hits kept adding up. Cheap shots, high posts, hard bumps, all while the refs stayed silent. This season has pulled back the curtain on an ugly truth in the WNBA. Clark is the league's biggest attraction ever.
It's amazing, just to see that how many people just love her in this city. She made her mark here, and it's just incredible to see all the fans and how much she's just put into working, and then the impact she's had on this city is just amazing to see.
Her arrival tripled viewership, packed arenas nationwide, and made her jersey the top seller across all sports. But instead of embracing this historic moment, the league's culture seemed set on breaking her down. When Clark missed time due to injury, WNBA ratings dropped 55%. Think about that, one player out, and over half the audience disappeared. It confirmed what fans already knew. Clark isn't just in the league right now, she's the league. Yet game after game, Clark faced blatant physical abuse on the court. Marina Mabrey's infamous body check, Angel Reese's flagrant hit to the head, and countless smaller cheap shots like Izzy Magbeger tripping her after dropping 29 points. None of it brought real consequences. The message from the refs was loud and clear. No one was going to protect her. That's where Sophie Cunningham came in, a black belt in Taekwondo. She never backed down. She stepped up to defend Clark when no one else would. And for standing against the league's bullying culture, she became the next target.
I think in face. That's what Clark didn't like.
Ejecting Cunningham sent a clear, unsettling message. Even Clark's protectors weren't safe. The WNBA hoped to quiet the outrage, but instead, they lit a firestorm. Clark's frustration wasn't just about losing the teammate, it was about the league's growing double standard. While male legends like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird were celebrated for their swagger and trash talk, Clark is criticized for the same fire. The league wants her skill and star power, but refuses to give her the basic protection every pro athlete deserves. Now, rumors are swirling, could Caitlin Clark actually walk away from the WNBA? Could a European club or wealthy backer tempt her to leave? Fans online are already urging it. One headline even said, "Let it collapse without you. The pressure is boiling over." If the league doesn't correct course soon, it could lose the one player holding it all together. The WNBA now faces a critical moment. Kicking out Sophie Cunningham didn't just upset Clark, it lit a spark across the entire fan base.
When you are good at basketball, you're pretty, and you got grit, those three things make you bad to the bone. And I think this is one of the new trends that's going on in the WNBA, in my personal opinion, is that not only will you be good at basketball, but you also, some of these women don't look like women, right? They used to look like dudes. But now they look like beautiful women that are playing basketball. And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough.
Social media erupted in outrage, with commentators calling out the league's leadership. The hashtag Protect Caitlin Clark started trending again. And the biggest question now, how long will Clark stick around? If she leaves, whether to Europe or to a billionaire-backed offer, the fallout could be massive. Ratings would crash, sponsors would bail, and future stars would see the message loud and clear. Success in this league puts a target on your back. The WNBA was given a once-in-a-generation talent, a player who brought in millions, sold out arenas, and turned women's basketball into must-see TV. But instead of protecting that asset, the league has allowed a toxic environment to grow where its brightest star is treated like a threat, not a blessing. That's why Clark's frustration matters. This isn't just about Sophie Cunningham, it's about whether the WNBA can stop sabotaging itself. So here's the real question. Will the league step up and stand by its star before it's too late? Or will it push Caitlin Clark and the future of the league out the door? Let us know what you think. Has the WNBA gone too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more WNBA updates.
When we first played her, I just think she's had a lot of pressure on her shoulders, and I think a lot of people, no one's walked in her footsteps, and so it's really easy to judge and to say things, but at the end of the day, we all need to empower each other and be there for each other. I think she's done a lot, not only her, but that rookie class. They've brought a lot of attention to our league, and it's needed. Like, this is what we've always wanted, and so why would we not embrace them and make sure they're good? And so when we first played them, I was like, hey, keep doing your thing. Like, you're doing a great job. If you ever need anything, reach out. And then the All-Star game, we were just having fun. I mean, she was playing, I was having a good time on the sideline, and I kind of told her, I was like, hey, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know. But that one kind of backfired on me. Now I'm here, which is great.
No one saw this coming. What started as a tense WNBA matchup suddenly turned into one of the season's most chaotic brawls.
All right, you guys, we need to talk. I just finished the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game. That was a wild one. That was so unexpected. Everything got spicy. Everything got negative.
Fueled by rising tensions, it all kicked off when Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark took a rough-eye poke from J.C. Sheldon. But instead of calming things down, the game quickly unraveled. In the final seconds, Sophie Cunningham charged in and delivered a shocking hit on Sheldon. What followed left everyone stunned. Multiple players were ejected. Refs were slapped with record fines, and the chaos left fans speechless. Now, the entire league is under scrutiny. Some are calling it the darkest moment of the season, while others believe it's just the start. So what really happened on that court, and why is the WNBA issuing some of its harshest penalties ever? Let's break it all down.
Wow, is Mabry going to stay in this game?
Indiana's Marina Mabry didn't think twice. She immediately stepped in, bumping Sheldon to send a clear message. The Fever weren't backing down. Officials rushed in to calm things, but the tone had already shifted.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever.
Gets bumped, will take, hit from 3.
From that moment on, every possession felt like it could spark a fight. With under a minute left, the tension finally snapped. J.C. Sheldon drove hard to the basket, but before she could finish, Sophie Cunningham came flying in and took her down hard. Sheldon grabbed the steal, went coast to coast, and then it happened. Cunningham didn't hold back, arms raised. She body-checked Sheldon to the floor. It wasn't subtle. The entire arena exploded.
As you guys can see here, J.C. Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball, Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark to the ground.
Players rushed to the scene, coaches were yelling, and fans jumped to their feet some cheering, others in shock. For a moment, it felt more like a fight than a basketball game. Referees scrambled to separate everyone, and after several tense minutes, they made their call. Sophie Cunningham, JC Sheldon, and Lindsay Allen were all ejected. Caitlin Clark, Peter Charles, and others were hit with technicals. The crowd was stunned, 3 players tossed, and honestly, more could have gone. Social media lit up instantly. Fans called it one of the dirtiest moments in recent memory. Clips of the chaos flooded TikTok and X, with one user joking, "Might be time to swap the court for a boxing ring," but the fallout was far from over. The WNBA wasted no time after reviewing the footage. The league took action fast.
Caitlin Clark in this particular game kept complaining that she was like scratching her arm and complained to the officials about it. And honestly, the entire game, they were jawing at each other, they were chirping at each other. Marina Mabrey always on the side, coming to her teammates' defense, because we all know Marina Mabrey. But really, the boiling point was Sophie Cunningham's hard foul on JC Sheldon, and I truly think that this was a message that she was sending to the leagues, to the officiating, just like to everybody, because it is, if you are watching any of these games, you are seeing that there is a disparity in the way that it's being officiated, and the Indiana Fever are held to a standard that no other team is.
Game after game, Caitlin Clark is in the crosshairs. Her coach is outraged. NBA stars are weighing in, and even the media is questioning whether the WNBA has lost control. With every hard foul and missed call, the league's image takes another. Hit Dot fans are growing frustrated. Sponsors are paying close attention. And here's the real danger if this continues. It could undo everything Caitlin Clark has helped build for the league. So how did things spiral this far? And can the WNBA still fix it? Let's break it down. Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever. Music gets bump, pulls. Out from 3, but this isn't just about one game or one brawl anymore. The WNBA's Caitlin Clark crisis is a clear pattern, and now everyone's noticing.
Trash talk had been happening everywhere. Technicals, flagrants, all this stuff had been happening. And as JC Sheldon was running down the court for a fast break layup, Sophie Cunningham grabs her and hard fouls her. I think this was Sophie. This was the last 46 seconds of the game. They were up by a lot. So I think it's a possibility that Sophie was trying to send a message to the league, to the officiating, to everybody that, listen, like, the Indiana Fever have had enough, and this is what's going to happen.
And that's just what gets called. Game after game, Clark is getting hacked, grabbed, and shoved in most of the time. The refs just let it slide. This isn't just poor officiating. It's a failure across the league. Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White put it plainly, this has been going on all season. It's a league-wide problem.
Now after this, you guys, of course, the referees are going to review the play, because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact happening during this play, right? So the 3 referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora, because I don't think these referees have ever refereed a professional basketball game in their life. They took these referees, they were at the monitor, they looked at it for, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes. 15 minutes they are watching this play over and over. They are...
Referee Blanca Burns faced the toughest punishment the league has ever handed out, a hefty fine and public backlash for letting the game spiral out of control. Both Cunningham and Sheldon were fined and suspended, with several other players also receiving penalties. Now, the WNBA's reputation is taking heat from all sides. Some fans say the league waited too long to step in. Others believe the players had no choice but to stand up for themselves after weeks of ignored fouls and rising tension, especially with Caitlin Clark being targeted game after game. Even the experts are divided. One ESPN analyst warned the WNBA can't afford more moments like this. It's grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. But here's the bigger issue. Has the league lost control? Because with Clark still taking hits and players like Sophie Cunningham stepping in to defend her, this likely won't be the last time sparks fly on the court. So where does the WNBA go from here? Fans are still debating what really led to the chaos. Was it poor officiating, players crossing the line, or the league's failure to protect its biggest star? One thing's certain, emotions are still running hot. The next game between these teams is already being hyped as a must-watch showdown. Will things cool off, or is another eruption on the way? And how will the league respond if this happens? Again, because if the WNBA can't stop the relentless targeting of Caitlin Clark, and if players like Cunningham keep stepping in, the season could be heading for even more turmoil. This is what happens when elite athletes are allowed to play physical without clear boundaries. They compete hard, they protect their own. That's the nature of high-level competition. But the WNBA has let the Caitlin Clark backlash spiral out of control. What began as aggressive defense has turned into dangerous targeting on court attacks, online harassment, and cheap shots without consequences. And the league, so far, they've just let it continue.